Everybody remember, if you haven't already watched my videos on my SR500 project, I put a lot of work to it. The one thing I didn't do was rebuild the engine. I got it out of a junkyard. It was seized. I freed it up. And instead of tearing it down, I decided to go ahead and run it. Well, it turned out the engine, the bore and everything wasn't too bad, but I went ahead and overbored it anyway. And I've got a Wassner 522 piston and a Yoshimura cam. On one of my earlier shorts videos, which I'll post here, I discovered that I had carbon built up underneath the intake valve, or the exhaust valve, I can't remember, it's been so long. A lot of my work in the shop got cut short by injuries during a motorcycle crash. But I'm back to full form now, except for some new aches and pains that I didn't have before. So, it's time to rebuild that engine. And we're going to get it done. We'll start by disassembling this head. I just got the cylinder back from the machine shop, so I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. But right now, let's disassemble this head. And we will measure the valve stems and clean all the carbon out of everything and see where to go from there. I'm using my OTC valve spring compressor. Now, a lot of people set these things up the wrong way. They will try to set it up and then they will try to use this handle to squeeze it. This handle right here, they will try to use that to compress the valve. That is the wrong thing to do. What you want to do, you want to set it so that's on the valve and it locks down without you having to use a lot of undue force. And then, so this part is on the retainer and the head around here is on the valve. And then you will turn this handle until the valve gets compressed. Let's demonstrate right quick. I will turn this handle. And this way you're not straining. It's hard work to compress that spring with this handle. You're just supposed to use this handle for setup, not for compressing the spring. Alright, that comes out. And as you can see, the spring retainers are falling out. I should have got my small pen with the magnet, but oh well. Those retainers are out. And we'll put those safely out of the way. And then you loosen this back up. I will make sure I keep these separated by intake and exhaust. You loosen that back out. And now you can unlock the handle. And that takes care of the exhaust. So go ahead and take the intake loose now. Same procedure. We're just putting this up here. Snap the handle closed on your setup distance. There we go. Those retainers just fell right out. Once again, I'm twisting the handle to release the pressure. I'm not using this handle. This handle is just for, so you don't have to reset it every time. That's the intake valve spring set. You can see there's a lot of carbon. As we're inspecting this, you can see the carbon build up in both valve seats. But overall, there doesn't appear to be that much wear. So I should be able to get by with cleaning this off and lapping the valves. I'm going to measure the valve stems right quick. And if there's excessive wear on them, I will get new ones, and then I'll be sending this head out to a machine shop to have the valve guides replaced. Now, I have micrometers and stuff too, but in all honesty, for a backyard mechanic, a good digital dial caliper will do the trick for something like this. Just to see if you're in line, just make sure you zero it every time. That is it. That's at about 7.9. Yep. 7.93 up here at the top on the unworn part. Okay, yeah, let me put this right here. Okay, I put it on the body of the valve stem. Alright. 7.98. 7.98. 7.98. So it's consistent. It's the same measurement up here that it is all the way down. Of course, you should also check with your service manual to make sure. Have to keep these with the springs. Those are the spring seats. If you put it back together without these spring seats, it'll leak through your head. So now I'm going to pull the valve stem seals off. And we will clean these parts off right quick. Take this over to the parts washer. And then wire brush them if necessary. Get the carbon off of here. Then it will all wind up going into the vapor blasting machine for a good thorough clean out. But that's it. This is the whole root cause of why the engine stopped running. Was the carbon buildup on both valves from it sitting so long, and then me restarting it. So we'll get the head done and put it back together, and then we'll start on fixing the ring gap. Yeah, the washer piston here is a very nice piece. We'll check the ring gap. I already checked the side clearance. The bore diameter is just fine. I double checked. I had total faith in my machine shop anyway, which is Andrews Motorsports in Concord, North Carolina. I'll leave a link down below. I want to check. I've already checked the gap on all the other rings too, but I wanted to show you how it's done, just in case somebody doesn't know. Anyhow, you take your piston and you push the ring part the way down in there so that it's level all the way around. You don't want it right at the top or right at the bottom. You want it somewhere in the middle. Then, this little tiny groove right here, you want to take the specified size of feeler gauge and place in it. And you should be able to get the specified size of feeler gauge into that gap in the ring. I don't know if it's visible on camera or not, but it's right here. You will need to consult your piston and ring manufacturer for the correct specifications. I have a chart here that has the Washner specifications for all of the different rings. Now I'm going to clean all this stuff up. And I'm actually, because I have some new custom parts to go on it, some new custom covers, instead of touching up the paint on the engine with it all together, I'm going to paint the individual parts first before I put it back together. All right, we got all the exterior parts that are going to be painted. We got the rings gapped. We got the clearances verified on the piston. We got the head serviced, and now we're ready to put this engine back together. Of course, the first thing I do before I go any further is take this old piston off, and I will do that. You'll notice that I have all the holes on top of the engine here stuffed with rags to make sure a circlip doesn't wind up down in them. So that's going to be the first thing I do. Up on my laptop screen here behind me, I have a factory service manual opened up. And one thing about a lot of the older factory service manuals tend to be deficient in showing you every single thing. So I also have some parts diagrams up too. Should I need those? Should I need further guidance? So that's pretty much it. We'll get started on this one. I'm going to change this thing over to a time-lapse video. It would be really boring to watch me do a play-by-play on this entire engine. So I'm just going to set the camera up for time-lapse, and we'll hit the highlights as we go. Well, that's it for the first episode. That's how I assembled the bottom end. As you can see in the video, the last thing I did was set the engine at top dead center. I really like to verify top dead center in case there is a problem, such as a broken crankshaft key, flywheel key. And plus, it just makes it easier when you're installing the head and the camshaft afterwards. So that's it for today. That was the first of these series. I'm going to have this, and I'm going to show you the head and the top end, which I wound up sending the head to a machine shop. And in addition to the valve seat regrind, I also had it ported. So it looks really good. And the head install will be in the next video. And then I'm actually going to do the cam chain tensioner, the initial setup, and valve lash clearance in a separate video. And after that, of course, a quick video will be cranking it up and running it for the first time. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to do much with it. That was actually last Friday. And I've had a little surgery since then. So it may be a little while before I get to the final tuning of it. But it runs and sounds great now. And I have 3 or 4 weeks worth of video to get edited for you. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope you got something out of it. And as always, keep riding, keep wrenching, and stay crazy.